So this week for your speech, I want you to be working on kind of getting your outline together. And this is going to be super important because I think that it serves as a really good kind of work document as you get your speeches and you start working on your speeches. Because believe it or not, this is going to happen a whole lot sooner than you realize. And public speaking is one of those things where we just really have to, keep working on it and keep doing things. So I wanted to show you how to access the outline template and then kind of how to work with it. So to access it, you're going to go under Final Project 3, Persuasive Speech. And then you're going to go to your speech outline. And that's going to be the speech outline. This is the assignment. This is where you submit it. And you're going to click Basic Outline Template, or you can click Basic Outline Template here. When you do that, it's going to click, and it's going to give you this document. All right. What you're going to need to do is you're going to do File, make a copy, and then save it to your Google Drive with your name, etc., etc. This is just the template. Please don't try to ask for permission to edit this. I'm going to say no. Okay. When you make your copy, it's going to look like this. All right. And it's going to have, it looks exactly the same. And you're going to start by putting in a title. Please do not just leave this blank. Okay. So, and I'm going to do a really lame one like drinking water, because I literally have a water cup like 2 inches from me. All right. And honestly, when I go in to do a speech, I don't start by doing this stuff. This is the stuff I come back to. Instead, I work on my thesis. And one of the best ways to work on your thesis statement is to think of your organizational pattern, plot it, and then write it. So if I'm saying you should, then that's going to immediately point to motivated sequence. Okay. So motivated sequence starts out with need or problem. And so what is the need for drinking water? Well, it's, dehydration is a bad thing, and we want to try to avoid that, right? Then the second one is satisfaction. This is the how-to. So it would be like how to get more ounces. And I'm going to do that because honestly, the basic how-to is, open mouth, insert cup, which isn't useful. And then the last one is going to be visualization, or the benefits, right, of being hydrated. So I'm going to talk about, so now I can go back and write my thesis statement. So I'm going to say, by understanding your body's need for water, how you can get more ounces in your day, and the benefits you'll receive, you'll see why you should be drinking more water every day. Okay. And the thing is that's really cool about these organizational patterns is they do a really good job of helping you write your thesis statement. If let's say I'm trying to propose that that Missouri expand A+ to anyone who graduates in good standing in Missouri, I could do the problem, solution, rebuttal, right? I could say, since Missouri has a severe shortage of well-educated workers, and because we have this great program already in place, I feel that Missouri should implement free 2-year college for anyone who graduates in good standing in Missouri, or something like that. And, that can help you start to think through your 3 main points. Now, obviously, when I did that example, I did not have my 3rd main point in there. And so I would need to go back and revise that. And so I'm trying to avoid everybody else's topics that I've seen online. But, when you come up with this, with a organizational structure, it really does help you write your thesis, because your thesis is, what are you going to prove? How is it that at the end of your speech, you have, you have actually made some progress, and you have, kind of put this into effect so that you're where you need to be. And this is a really important way of doing it. So now I'm going to start kind of going through and fleshing out my outline. Well, I can come up here and start with this way. Most people finish the body first, but I'll go through this just this way for your own use. The hook or the intention getter. How am I going to grab people's attention? So, there's all different ways, and they are in your textbook. but I might say something like, when's the last time you had a full glass of water? Kind of boring, but it'll do. X percent of Americans don't get the water they need to be healthy. Okay. Again, and normally when I'm outlining, this is exactly what I do. I put in the information I want to find, and then I cheat. I will bold that stuff as I go, and then when I go to research, I can just come in here, find the bold pieces, get the statistic, pop it in, and it cuts my prep time in half. It's seriously awesome, right? Credibility. And again, you don't have to be a great expert. You might just simply say, I made a New Year's resolution to drink more water. Okay. And I'm still sticking with it. Super easy, right? And then that goes into here. And what you should be aiming for is what we call a phrase outline. It's kind of Goldilocks. Too much text and it looks too much like an essay, and that's not okay. Too little text and it's not going to be a useful document. It won't help you create your note cards, and therefore it's not worth doing. So, you want to hit the sweet spot in the middle. So if I go down here to need for dehydration, I know that I'm going to be talking about the physical effects of dehydration, and probably the mental effects, just because I know that those occur. Now, I don't have to, rack my brain trying to come up with a third one. Mental and physical is going to cover most of it, so I'm going to delete this, okay? But if I delete C, what do you think I got to do? I've got to delete C all the way down, okay? One of the things that you'll see is if you have an A, you have to at least have a B. If you have a 1, you have to at least have a 2. So I could not just delete, I couldn't have just this. That wouldn't be okay. I've got to have both. So, some physical effects of dehydration, headache, and maybe, and I would have to look this up, maybe you're more prone to injury. Or you could even talk about injury recovery. And that would be one of those things where I say find source, okay? And if I end up finding these sources and I've got more to say on it, I might have to bump it out, right? But if I just have one, I might simply say, and I do this according to, and then I'll put the source. Okay. And I might add some additional detail here. And then when I go back and do my research, I'm going to come in and fill this in. So when I'm done, I might say, and again, I would bold these. So eventually I might put prone to injury according to the Physical Therapist Association. Making this up, guys, just let you know. Dehydrated athletes spend X percent or spend more time on the bench or something like that. So again, this is kind of a map of my speech. I might elaborate a little bit, but that's going to be what I do. And then I'm going to fill in the rest of these, with support points. And again, if I find myself doing this, and I've got all these support points, well, this should raise a red flag that maybe my whole speech should be about mental effects. Maybe I need to zoom in on just the mental. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about doing your outline. Then I'm going to do my satisfaction, same thing here, and then my visualization, same thing. Okay, I'm going to continue on filling out this thing. And then I'm going to get to my conclusion. Please, so many of my students, they forget to actually write out the conclusion. Signaling the close, as you can see, getting more water is essential to your health, Then I'm going to restate my thesis and my main points, give the audience something to do. Now, this is one of those things where normally you're looking at 24 to 48 hours. You're going to say something like, so when you go for lunch today, before you grab that soda bottle, have a glass of water before you start reaching for other drinks, and your body will thank you for it, or something like that. You can blend these sometimes, and that's totally okay. The one thing you will want to do is delete the prompts because it becomes very, very hard to see it as you go through. And then the works cited should be in MLA or APA format. Okay? And as you kind of work through this document, you're going to have questions. If you want me to look at your outline, I am happy to do that. But I do want you thinking about like how can you make this work? What can you do to make this clear? So I hope that you are doing okay and that this helped a little bit. If you've got questions, as always, feel free to get in touch. All right, see you soon.